Guild Boss 4, Day 4. Welcome back to another Bit Legend video, fellas. Here we go, Day 4. So we're going to jump in battle like we usually do, but the main purpose of this video is to talk about updates and changes and things that have been proposed. So let us do that. Now, first thing I want to do is I want to jump over to the auction. Of course, we haven't killed a boss in a while, so we're looking at my tickets here. You will get 2 tickets per boss that you kill, even if you don't attack the boss. For example, I never got a swing in on Guild Boss and Guild Boss 1 and 2 because my guild killed them almost instantly. However, I still got the 2 kill points in the mail regardless, just from being in the guild. And then you're going to have 3 attempts per day just for simply tagging the boss. You're going to get 3 kill points per attempt. So 3 attempts, 3 points, 9 per day, as long as you are swinging away and doing your attacks. So let us come on over here, and there you go. Of course, this is the loot. Some group dropped this today and the tanks went crazy. Very cool. Not our group, of course, but anyways, let's get on here. So we'll start the battle. I think I'm gonna run the same team. You know what, I'm gonna take Pioneer out. He's usually never getting any heals in anyways. He's just, my goal here is just to punch and punch before everybody dies. So that is what we'll do. Let me just take a look. Anything I want to change? Full armor mech, I think he's okay. Having 1 healer might be decent. Swordsman is a boss. And hopefully sometime I'll be upgrading deity, but we'll see. We'll see. I still think that these epics that I suggested in the previous video are very, very economic. They make a lot of sense, at least to me. So, of course, here we go with the autopilot. Get some attacks in. Boom, there is the attack all skill. I'm surprised the attack all skill killed everybody without a crit. I didn't know if I've seen that before. Also, some of these hits hit multiple times. However, if it's a kill shot, you won't see all of the damage numbers pop up. So if you're like, one of my teammates died and it looked like he took 400 damage and died, he probably took 400 damage like 5 times or something. I don't know. But anyways, here we go. I have put a ton of damage reduction on right now. I have 67% damage reduction. I lost like a couple other bonuses, a little bit of block, a little bit of dodge to make that happen, but I think it's okay. I'm 2 damage reduction chips away from, ooh, that was the enraged damage. 2 damage reduction chips away from capping damage reduction at 75%, which is what my testing has revealed. It hasn't been officially revealed that 75% is the cap, but let's take a look at these bonuses. So my diversion is a little bit lower than it usually is. Damage reduction 67%. Dodge is a little bit lower. Block is lower, and absorb is fairly close to where it usually is. And then of course we have 10% elemental resistance. So for anybody who missed it, let me see if I can pull up the updates about the guild boss. There's been a couple things that have been suggested. One thing that was suggested that I didn't mention in a previous video because it was more recent is that they're thinking of a mode, so they want Guild Boss 5 to be a battle for guild members, and I think that's really good. I think we can have the best of both worlds. You can have some guild bosses where you use your minions. That way players are rewarded for getting really good minions and upgrading them. And then we can also have some guild bosses where you fight them with your guild mates, and it kind of gives you more of that guild feeling. Also, that brings a lot of value to tank players and healer players, and not just people that can solo the damage meter, but you can play a strong role. And honestly, I'm really, really looking forward to seeing how the DPS players will fare when they have me in front as a tank, because a lot of times they'll tell me that the limiting factor is the tank in their group. So a lot of guys are running Blue Universe, and he can only go so far. But anyways, so all right, I found it. So yeah, we talked about the guild thing. The way that it was proposed is that the guild leader would compile a team of like 3 groups of 3, 3 groups of 5, depending on how it is. Kind of think like how GVG is set up, where you jump in there with a bunch of different teams. I suggested that they do it GVG style instead of having the guild leader do all the work and coordinate and have to run everything. And also, I think that's a little bit less content for the players. The proposal on that one was that every player would have like 1 attack per day to do it. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain verbally, but yeah, whatever. We shall figure out. Let me scroll through and find some other stuff that would be what we want to talk about. I haven't seen any changes to the loot, but I do think it makes sense to change one thing at a time. I do like the reset strategy where a guild that kills a boss gets points. They can use those points to reset a boss and you get more kills. That makes sense. And that single-handedly would solve the solution of guilds splitting into smaller guilds. Also, Guild Boss 2 and 3 are going to be tuned up. They're way too easy. So they're probably going to increase the stamina quite a bit. I don't know if they're going to increase the damage. Guild Boss 4, they are going to remove the self-shield skills, and they're going to tone down the AoE attack. I think they're going to give him an attack front 2, and that would make the best composition to run 2 tanks in the front, and then 3 DPS/healers after that. But we shall see. What else? Did I miss anything? I think that pretty much wraps it up. I think respawning the bosses is the best. The other thing that they could do is just add a bunch of bosses between boss 3 and boss 4, but apparently coding in these bosses takes a long time. I thought it wouldn't really be that difficult. They could just use the same loot table and just repeat it a couple times. I don't think anybody would have a problem with that. And as far as everything, I feel like you script the attacks, and then the art is the thing that takes the longest, and then there you go. But keep in mind, I don't know anything about game development. So, anywho, here we are. This is attack number 2. I'm going to look and see, since this is day 4. This is not day 4 of Guild Boss. This is day 4 of whacking the Guild Boss number 4. So I'll just take whatever damage we get and divide it up, and we will figure it out. I'd say I've been fairly happy with my minion team. The problem is that Swordsman, his stamina is so low, and again, these other guys, their stamina is pretty low too, that, that was a big hit. That was a big hit of damage. That in almost any AoE attack are going to take these guys out. I'm surprised Swordsman didn't die there. And we do see a little bit of the healing hit point bar bug. See how his bar is going up and down there? That has been around for a while. I'm going to do my shielding skill just because, and we still get melted through it. So I don't think we hit Enrage in that one. And if you didn't catch it in a previous video, the boss should hit their Enrage after the boss has taken 30 attacks. And I think that's a pretty, not taken, he has done 30 turns is a better way to say that. And I think it's a pretty fair way to do the Enrage timer. You don't want a battle that goes on for 5 hours, and if you're in here doing manual mode, I think 30 rounds of the boss is plenty. So let us jump right back on in as much as we can. But you can see how my kill points are going up. The devs said that the kill points move with you. Now I could have translated that wrong, but it sounded like if you leave a guild, you keep your kill points. I actually thought that it was not going to work that way. I thought it was going to work like a guild honor. So if I go back to guild and I go to shop, you'll see the currency I have down here. Does the question mark tell me anything? Yeah, you get this guild currency, which is 10% of your experience. And this is stored in your guild. So if I leave my guild without spending this, the honor currency does not move with me. So that's something important. So if you are going to leave guilds, move guilds, whatever, you want to spend that. And however, it is possible. I think that if you left a guild, did whatever, joined back, I do believe that your honor would still be there, but don't quote me on that. If anybody has tested that, feel free to let me know. But you definitely want to spend that. And I kind of hope they revamp the guild shop. I feel like that would be cool. Make that a little bit more impactful. Usually you can get your nice experience boost here, or you can get I think PvP tickets, energy. If you're in a bind and you need energy, that's a way to do it. I think the gladiator coin is probably the best value here. Also, for those of you who don't know, since I'm still killing time, we're waiting for that reset timer. In fishing, if you go to the shop, you can also get these 50% experience boosts. So if you are pushing any significant amount of push, you should really consider the experience boost. And fishing is a pretty easy way to do it. I don't do a ton of fishing. I think most of this is probably from the weekly bonus. I'll do enough fishing just to get like a little bit of a weekly reward. And you can see that here. So, I mean, if you're ranking decently, let's say top 500, that means every 3 weeks or 4 weeks, every 4 weeks you are getting an XP boost. So if you're free to play, you want to save up some sort of resources or time a push, you can pretty much do that without any problems. I think just by participating, I've been getting top 250. So let's go and see if the boss is ready for us to give it another whack. Click. 51 seconds to go. And all right. Another idea that I proposed was to remove all the legendary items, and then you'd only have mythics and set pieces. And I would say don't just delete the legendary items from the game, just put them elsewhere, put them in raids, put them in boss, put them just whatever other content. But since each boss drops 1 to 4 pieces of loot, that way you would be forced to get at least a mythic item, and then you'd have maybe a better chance at getting a set item. But since they're adding the respawn mechanic, or at least they're talking about that one, I think that it's fair for them to leave the loot unchanged, make one change to the resets and the difficulty tuning, and then we'll kind of see how it is. Because, are we going to kill the bosses? Is my guild going to kill boss 3 2 times per week now? Are we going to kill it 1 time per week now, 3 times per week? So that's going to increase the loot as well. We have seen one of the guilds drop the tank offhand set piece. I haven't seen anything else exciting there. My guild still does not know who got the mythic gun. Not that the mythic gun is important, but it does highlight a very important element of the game. So there you go. My entire team just got wiped. Let's see how far we go. This is actually a pretty good way to test my defense on my tank. So you can see the progress and the changes from getting my damage reduction increased. So, anywho, the auction system needs to be changed. You got to work on that. They are adding the name of the last bidder, but I don't know if there's going to be any sort of like bid history. For example, there's 24 hours to bid. So what if there's an item in there and I wait until the last 2 seconds and I bid and I win it? Is there any way to know how much or who got the last item, what happened, et cetera, I could just wait to the last second and try to ninja something. And right now we have a system that doesn't prevent that at all. And if I didn't mention it, you can kick a player from your guild now. That is new. You can kick a player. Hey, speaking of fishing, got my fishing rewards. Is this from like last week? I feel like I've already collected them. Maybe I haven't. But anyways, right now we have a system that doesn't really prevent those things, but they're working on it.